Really does amaze me that San Francisco is literally running itself to the ground. I mean, San Francisco has always been kind of like this very progressive state, right? I mean, I'm cool being progressive, but at the same time, you're going to have to save the businesses, keep the streets clean, and also offer some form of affordable housing to get the homeless off the streets. But San Francisco is very incompetent. In fact, they even made being homeless on the streets fully legal now. Unlike San Diego, who has put a massive ban on tent encampments in the downtown area. San Francisco doesn't care. The Tenderloin District has always been an open-air drug market for several decades, and it really does amaze people, especially international tourism. You know, when you ask them, they're like, oh, was the Tenderloin District like this for just the past few years? Was this like a pretty new thing? No, the Tenderloin District has been like that for several decades. Now it's spreading out. It's getting worse. International tourists are actually shocked to see that a first world tech city like San Francisco looks like a dump right now. San Francisco's Golden Gate Bridge is the latest doom loop. We do see the pre-pandemic toll revenue down 30%. Now, the Golden Gate Bridge at this point might as well just go bankrupt. I mean, they're not making any money. Okay, this is a massive money generator for the city of San Francisco. Peak commuter traffic from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. on weekdays is down 30%. What this means is most of the offices are down and they're vacant. Now, with the commuter traffic down 30%, that's actually very accurate because if you look at the amount of vacancies in downtown San Francisco, it's about 30 to 40%. So that's actually up around the same level as the decreased drivers. A lot of people, they commute from Oakland and also other parts of the Bay Area. They use the Golden Gate Bridge to go to work because Oakland has cheaper rent. So a lot of people tend to live there, save money, and then buy a property elsewhere. That's what a lot of tech engineers do. But not a lot of people crossing the Golden Gate Bridge anymore. They don't really want to go to San Francisco, okay? A lot of people over there in like Napa Valley, you know, kind of like the north side of the Bay Area, they don't want to travel to San Francisco either. Like they don't want to cross the bridge to the city. Plus, most of the companies have moved out. Okay, some of the biggest corporations are either one, cutting down their offices, or two, just straight up moving out. Skills, this $20 to $30 billion gaming company, they have packed up and left for Las Vegas in a jiffy. I mean, they were quick. They immediately announced it. They immediately packed up, and now they're already in Las Vegas. They rented like a 30 to 40,000 square feet apartment, or I guess office, however you want to call it, in Las Vegas. It's crazy. Sin City has become a massive startup hub. Miami, who is known for hospitality and tourism, is now known as Wall Street of the South, and also a big tech industry is growing there. And Austin is also having a big tech industry too. So you do see, economic stagnation, rising crime, sprawling homelessness, and the majority of the population are sick of it. And there's a huge chunk of the population in San Francisco who has massive drug problems. They recently seized like this huge fentanyl package that could have killed like the city 2 times over. And that's how much fentanyl is in that city. And that's just from one raid. And San Francisco is really going down the dumps. I mean, when you have the tolls down this much, we're not talking about 1 or 2%, we're talking about 30%, and we're talking about post-pandemic, the city is basically dead. What about vacation? Airbnb bookings decline in San Francisco. In fact, if you check out San Francisco real estate on Zillow, it is bad. Okay, it's not great at all. It's so different from Miami. I mean, check out San Francisco real estate right now. Let me show you guys. Look at how cheap some of these units are getting. Okay, and yeah, 2 bed, 2 bath, 1,000 square feet, $1 million. During the peak of 2021, this was easily a $1.5, $1.6 million unit. And yes, they're selling for $1 million, but if you tell them to sell it to you for $600,000, even $700,000, some of these guys might even say yes. There's virtually nobody buying these, okay? You have whole entire houses in San Francisco going for cheap. Nobody wants any of these units. And some of the more expensive houses, I mean like this one, 1,500 square feet for a whole house in San Francisco. This was easily a $2 to $3 million property. Now it's at 1.4. So you do see massive price cuts. Not to mention the commercial space in San Francisco is also down around 50 to 75%, which is pretty bad. So people are saying that the official numbers of the decline in tourism is negative 16%, but I don't believe that, because what a lot of Airbnb guys are saying is tourism is down more than 16%, and I believe it. If you check out the walking tours, if you check out people who went to San Francisco, they all say that the streets are very empty. It's very eerie. Now, if you go to places like downtown Chicago, if you go to like Hollywood and like Los Angeles, if you go to Brickell in Miami, in the daytime it's packed with people. But San Francisco downtown in the middle of the day is completely empty. At night, it's actually very dangerous to walk around. In fact, San Francisco, a lot of the areas don't even have police officers, which a lot of tourists are actually very worried about because there's just a lot of crime. There's just people just shooting up drugs in the middle of the street, like at a tourist trap. I mean, this is actually crazy. How much the city has truly deteriorated. And Airbnb listings are down. There's a woman who says that during last year, there was still some tourism in San Francisco. Out of 30 nights, she rented out 27 nights. Now, out of 30 nights, her Airbnb only rents out 3 nights. That is a massive decline in tourism just for that woman in the Airbnb industry. She only rents out like a single room, not even a big landlord. Not only do we have a lot of Airbnb foreclosures in San Francisco, but we're seeing record defaults in real estate, like the Westview Mall defaulting on $558 million of loans. Park Hotels Resorts shutting down their 3,000 room hotel, saying that bad street conditions and they're not going to be making any money, and the building is only worth 50% of what they paid for. That's kind of bad, and they defaulted on $725 million loan. These are all huge numbers. We also have the latest casualty of San Francisco retail closures. We do have this hat store, has a lot of locations across the country, was founded in 1895. An iconic store of more than 100 years has now finally shut down in San Francisco, pretty much saying that crime has spiked up so much that they cannot operate in San Francisco. We're also seeing cafes of 70 to 80 years. These are iconic stores closing in San Francisco, and they all say the same thing. High crime, the daily office workers have dropped dramatically, and tourism is basically dead in the city. We're even seeing empty stores everywhere in San Francisco. When you have the most popular mall in San Francisco shutting down, it's not great. And a lot of these stores, when they shut down, they don't make it to the news like this one. In fact, the majority of these guys, they just close down quietly. And San Francisco is already spending hundreds of millions of dollars every year addressing the homelessness problem. I don't know how they're spending hundreds of millions of dollars and the city still looks like this. It's actually crazy. And in fact, there's already a lot of opposition to stop people from clearing the homeless encampments, to stop people from building affordable housing. Like, I don't know how the city is doing, but they're going to have to be decisive if they want anything to change. Because the way they're running the city is absurd for international standards. Go to any city in the first world, okay? If you go to Shanghai, go to Tokyo, go to Singapore, go to Sydney, you don't see tents, okay? Go to Doha, go to Dubai, Abu Dhabi, you don't see tents on the floor. You don't see straight up open air drug markets. You don't see that kind of stuff, okay? But you see that in San Francisco. I don't know what to say, but I really hope the city gets itself together because it is a fantastic city. The location's actually really good, but people are also saying that this is going to be a Detroit 2.0 situation, right? Just like Detroit, where the automotive industry left and the whole city was in ruins. Now for San Francisco, the whole city is experiencing a massive loss of big and small tech companies. And now, small business owners are moving out. It's over for San Francisco. But let's see if they can recover, and I hope they do.